Okay, guys, after you understand the basic foundation, which is the historical part of the law enforcement system, from few types of era, okay, for example like Anglo-Saxon, and then move forward to UK and the US. So now it is very important to understand the separation part of law enforcement and the lawmaking. Okay, so the lawmaking process and the by the lawmaker is very important because it contains a lot of theory whereby a lot of steps, okay, have to be done in order to approve any kind of law that they want to make or any kind of law that they want to impose. For example, very simple example is our MCO, or Movement Order Control, MCO, yeah, a Movement Control Order, sorry. It takes a few actions and few discussion in order to implement such a law, because we need to consider few laws as well, and we have to mix certain statutes and acts and clauses, and of course the jurisdiction, in order to make sure it happen. For example, if I'm saying about the MCO, okay, it is the combinations of a lot of statutes and acts. For example, Police Act 1967, and we have Penal Code. At the same time, Federal Constitution, which is considered important because it talks about the freedoms of movement and freedom of the ability of police to stop people from going out the house and going out from where they stay. And it is very important to understand that that restriction should comes in purpose of something important or something that is very urgent, and that emergency of MCO caused this to happen. Okay, so it is very important to understand the concept of parliamentary democracy that Malaysia uphold. Okay, so the parliamentary democracy in Malaysia, and then we go through the three branches of the authority part or the administrative part, which are the judiciary, the legislature, and the last one would be the executive, whereby the executive will be the key point of the one that monitoring and managing all the agencies or law enforcement agencies in Malaysia. Okay, remember, law enforcement is an act, okay, an act to enforce the law that has been made by the legislator and passed through the judiciary system. Okay, so it is very important to have the feedback from the citizen whether they can obey with the law, and whether the law enforcement agencies can rule the order and rule the order and law, the new law. Okay, so it is very important to have such agencies to ensure that this law prevail, or this law work for the rakyat. Okay, so and then we're going to see the general understanding of the lawmaking process in Malaysia, and then we're going to see how law are made and implemented, and the separation powers of theory. I'm going to discuss with you guys a little bit of this essence as well, and then we're going to see the role and responsibilities of the executive branch as the main person, or the main person that in charge and monitor all the law enforcement agency. Who leads this executive branch? It's going to be the Yang Dipertuan Agong. The power granted to the Yang Dipertuan Agong is actually under the Federal Constitution of Malaysia, but then Yang Dipertuan Agong, with the advice of our Prime Minister, will act or decide on certain terms. Okay, so that is what we're going to cover in the chapter 2.